There we go. So we're going to get a warm up. I'm telling you what we're going to do is we're going to use a chair. I have it moved out here because I'm going to use it a lot today. I'm going to use my little pad. And the first place I want you to use your pad is sitting in your chair. Because to warm up, we're going to do a lot of squatting today. So I'm already going to tell you we're going to do squatting, okay? And we're going to do different kinds of squatting. So that's going to be part of our warm up, all right? Here's my tea towel. So I'm accentuating for my warm up, my knee lift, my heel lift. See, a lot of times when people are backing up, just in regular ambulation around, you know, the yard, around your house, many situations when you back up, that's when a lot of people have fallen. Because you back up, the first thing you should do when you're backing up, of course, is turn. See, I'm turning my whole body. I'm glancing my eyes down. Then I back up because I know what's in my pathway. Now, could a kid or a dog or a cat run into your pathway? Absolutely, that's called life. But see, I'm going to turn. See how I'm turning my whole body to look? That's what I want you to do. Because what you typically do and what you typically see people doing, and I'm honing in on these little functional everyday moves that get people into trouble. Hi, AJ, everybody coming on. And every time, see, I want you to be sure, and I want you to change your turning pattern. So I'm going to turn, see, and look. And I'm going to dart my eyes down there. Then I'm going to pick my heel up, and I go into my toe heel, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. Then I'm going to go forward again. I'm going to bring my knee up, and as I put my whole foot down, it's a heel toe. So I'm using normal foot patterning to warm you up today. So this is on the recording for you to use later. So it's a knee up, and then it's a heel toe. Knee up, heel toe step. Turn the hands, and all I have is a simple tea towel in my hand. Now, on that first step, a lot of times you will have forgotten that I'm doing an exaggerated heel lift. Now I'm going to go toe heel, lift, bring it back, toe heel, bring it up, the knee up, and then toe heel, and then up and toe heel. Okay? Here we go. Let's take one or two more passes. So I'm going to go exaggerated knee up, heel toe, exaggerated knee up, toe, heel toe, and a heel toe. Then I'm going to go exaggerate, toe, heel. So it's the opposite, toe, heel. And at the same time, I'm trying to stay on balance. At the same time, I'm just going across my midline because that helps my shoulders get prepped for what I'm going to do. One more pass. Knee up, heel toe, knee up, heel toe, knee up, heel toe. Now, hold it, drop your shoulders, turn, look behind you. See, I just dropped my chin a tiny. Then I bring my heel up and I do the opposite. Toe, heel instead of heel toe. Bring your toe up. See, I should say heel. Bring your heel up because you're taking a step and you're going cross the body, cross the body, cross the body. Okay? Big breath into the nose, out through the nose. Then we're going to go to the side. Then we're going to go to the side. Side tap, side tap, side tap. Now, as you're tapping to the side, you want to keep your elbows soft. As as you're tapping, you don't want to over lean. So this has to do with adduction and abduction. See, my hips, it's a gentle work. So even with hip replaced, you got to do these motions just to kind of get things going, all right? To do what we want to do with our joints, our muscles, we want to do what's called flossing, okay? It's as simple as walking, just walking with an arm swing. So we did exaggerated knee lift, heel lift. Now we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we just swing our arms, swing our arms, swing our arms, swing our arms, just a couple times. Now we're going to go into our squats. So I'm telling you, we're going to do a lot of variations on squatting today, okay? Because that's a very functional move, and it's one that virtually hits every muscle system, bone system, joint system. So you see my chair? What do I have? I have my pad or my pillow in my chair that raises me about 2 inches, okay? So I'm gonna go take a wide stance. I'm gonna do a hip hinge. I'm not going all the way down yet, okay? But I'm going to do a hip hinge. I'm going to start feeling these quads start to work, okay? My toes are forward. I'm a little bit wider than hip width with my feet. But as I start to bend, I want a really pronounced push in my butt, okay? I want to really shine my tail lights, so to speak. So as I go down, now I'm going to start elevating my shoulder rotation. Hi, everybody coming on. I'm here. Ruby's right there, covered up. Not quite functioning on all 4s yet. We're going to work on that. Okay, stay with me. See, I'm not going all the way down to my target. My target is here. I have my pad down. We're going to do squat variations. So this warms us up for that. Here's my tea towel. I'm going to stay low and just reach it right here in front. Notice I said in front. I didn't say above the head. If you have a wonky shoulder, you don't want to be going above your head without warming things up, okay? So a high squat, up and turn. Reach out, high squat, up and turn. High squat, up and turn. So my question to you is, are you breathing in through your nose, out through your nose if possible? And when you come up, you don't go way up with your hands. You just go straight out, if you can, or down. That's okay too. But see this hip hinge? You gotta get the hip hinge right here. So a hip hinge by virtue of, even if you're going to do a little semi squat, which is what we're doing, because why? Because we're warming up for some big time squats that we're going to be doing with weights, okay? But here's the deal. The hip hinge, the minute I go into this hip hinge, I've already pulled my rib cage up. I've already pushed my shoulders down, okay? I've already shifted my weight into my heels. So those are all parameters that you got to cover when you're doing this kind of a hip hinge. See that? And I'm doing several because this is our warm up. Down, turn to the side, reach out, okay? So when you're reaching out, really what I want to talk to you about is, where do you feel your pressure in your feet? It's a big deal. And a lot of people never even say anything about it or think about it. And then you wonder, oh, why is my ankle bothering, my foot bothering, my Achilles bothering, my this? Because you haven't thought, how am I moving through this simple high hip hinge squat? So I don't even call it a squat yet. I call it a high hip hinge. And as I turn, I stay forward. Then I go to the side, I push into the heels. And see, I may not say all those things that I'm doing for this motion, this warm-up motion, but I'm doing them. And I want you to do them. So, for instance, right now, I'm out here, I'm dropping my shoulders. I'm getting ready because I know I'm gonna do a hip hinge. So I say rib cage up, I keep dropping my shoulders, I go into my heels, and then I can turn. And it's a great warm-up move. But if you don't go through those little parameters, it's not a great warm-up move because typically you're going to be flexing your back, you're going to be locking your joints, locking your knees, locking your elbows, reaching your hands way up too high, not shifting. So I'm just saying, I'm doing all these things as I do this high repetition hip squatting situation. Okay, so I got that one backward. I'm just pointing out, I'm gonna hip hinge, then I'm gonna turn. Pointing out with my hands, soft elbows, push the hip hinge and turn. And if you want to, it would even be a great thing to just take and drop your chin as you're turning and just rotate your neck. Okay, so now right now, see when I'm up here, I'm gonna guarantee we have a lot of people on right now that many of you, when you come to this position, you locked your knees. I bet you did. Try not to do that because when you lock your knees, you do funny things with your back. You don't tighten in your tummy. You start hunching your shoulders. And this warm-up move, this wonderful warm-up move, turns into not a wonderful move, okay? So now I've changed the way I'm doing my arm turn. Now I'm reaching out, but I stand up. And then I turn my shoulders across my body. And whenever I do that, I'm gonna turn my chin. I'm gonna go one side, rotate one side, then rotate the other side. Okay, so this is a very gentle, repetitive motion. I've only changed one or two little things. Okay, couple more, big breath, and this is it. Okay, now I'm gonna step out of my little chair situation, and I'm gonna do that exaggerated knee lift, exaggerated knee lift, exaggerated knee lift. Then I'm going to do an exaggerated heel lift. Lower your center of gravity, heel lift. Lower your center of gravity, heel lift. Lower your center of gravity. So what is so strange is that the times we do these kind of moves and it forces us into balance type situations, we lock our joints. So I'm trying to work you through some of these warm-up moves to not do that. Okay, now we're going to start the workout in a real way. I got my little pad here. It could be a pillow. Okay, I step wide. The first squats that you do in a workout or in your day, step wide, wider than normal. That's more stable. Tighten in, drop your shoulders. Hip hinge. So when I hip hinge, if I were standing with you right now, I put my hand on your back, and the minute you did this, see, I should feel your rib cage should move up because that makes you extend your back. Now I'm going to go right ahead, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to have a landing. But I'm not going to stay there, okay? So this is a progressive squatting sequence. So we're going to do this a couple times. Keep asking yourself, am I hip hinging with my rib cage up? My shoulders down. My knees have to be soft. Now, right now, I want you to reach back and slap your butt. You got to be shining your taillights. So go right on down. Go ahead and actually sit down. Now, drop your shoulders. Tighten up. Say rib cage up. Lean in and really shine your taillights. This sequence, you guys, is so important to your knee health, okay? To proper quad function, hamstring function, foot function, back function. So here I go like this. See, my back is extended, my chin is tucked in through the nose, and then exhale as you come up. And you're slightly pushing into the heels. You're on your whole foot, but you're slightly pushing into those heels. Because why? Because you want to push your weight into the heels. Okay, take your hands out here. Now we're going to cross them. Okay, we're going to go down and open. We're going to cross them and come up. Open, cross. So check your shoulders out when you're doing this. In through the nose, out through the nose. Open, exhale, cross. Open, exhale, cross. So we have no weight. I just am trying to get you to really use the function of your core, your back, your gluteals, your quads, everything around your knee and hip function is done in this kind of a hip hinge squat. Okay, I got two more, and I'm doing two more on an elevated seat. What's it elevated to? Not much, 2 inches basically. Not quite 2 inches. I think that was 2, but we'll just do one more inch just because we can. Okay, take a big breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Grab your seat. Okay, you ready? I'm just gonna put it here because I'm not gonna step on it yet. Okay, you were used to doing it 2 inches higher, all right? Now I gotta go 2 inches lower. I haven't changed my feet. As a matter of fact, there's some of you who I know have wonky hips and knees that I would say go a little wider. Okay, now drop your shoulders, rib cage up, in through the nose, push your hip hinge, look where you're going, and come down. It's gonna surprise you at the effort it's gonna take for you to get up now and to go down that far. And this is just a chair, but we took away 2 inches, okay, of a lift. So this is what constitutes what we call progressive squatting, okay? Now, I'm doing, you may not notice it, but as I go down, see that proprioceptive change happened because I took 2 inches out of the seat, okay? So when I go down, you don't notice it, but I look. See, I look at my seat here because you drift, and I don't want you to drift out because see, you're shifting and you're losing your balance. You do little shifting things, and when you're actually gonna sit, you don't want to have drifted out so far that you miss your chair, right? Okay, across like this, if you can. If that's hard for you, then you're just gonna push your hands out, and that's okay. In through the nose, out through the nose. You ready? Tighten, 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 drop, drop, drop. I'm wide. Push the butt back really hard and take off, okay? Now, right here, really contract your butt muscles, okay? Squeeze them, okay? Then release. Push, look under, and sit. When you're doing this, a key thing to note is how does your knees feel and how do they feel? How do they, What do they hear like, sound like, and what do they feel? You shouldn't have a lot of grinding, popping, cracking, okay? In through the nose, out through the nose. Push your butt back, hard, tighten your tummy, and you push into your heels. And we're doing this repeatedly. And see, I just looked to make sure I hadn't drifted, all right? So how did I do that? I hip hinge first. I tuck my chin. I look at my target. And then I go down. I don't have to take my cervical spine all out of whack in order to look where my target is. And then when you do this repeatedly, and every time you come up, you gotta squeeze, then you release, okay? I'm pushing really hard into my heels and then come back up. I got 2 more here. And in through the nose, out through the nose. So you may not notice it, but every time, see, I am hip hinged enough and I'm squatting enough that all I have to do is glance and I see my target, all right? It helps you be more sure of where you're squatting to, correct? Okay, big breath. Okay, now we're gonna take our little pillow. Again, this is like a progressive kind of an exercise, okay? Now, I've not only gone down 2 inches more, but if I put my feet here, this is going to be a very, very different sit to stand move. Now, here's the deal, y'all. Some of you will be able to do this, no problem. If you've had knee replaced, if you've had hips replaced, this will push you. Don't try to do it without a little help. Okay, that's the first thing. This is very progressive and this is much more difficult, okay? But I'm trying to get you in different movement situations that's gonna make you use your muscles effectively, okay? This is gonna be harder. Put your hands here, especially if you've had knee issues, hip issues, okay? Drop your shoulders. In through the nose, out through the nose. Push down on your chair in your hands, but not with your shoulders elevated. Drop your shoulders. You got it? Okay, now I see where my feet are. They're on the outside edges of my little pad, okay? And I'm gonna get myself into this position and come up. So always safety, safety, safety. If this feels too precarious for you, don't use the pad under your feet, okay? Everybody has to make these decisions for themselves. I'm just telling you, this is a harder move, okay? It's a safe move for it's just gonna push you. See how I'm coming down here? Here's my chair. I'm gonna go into this. I'm gonna try to hang on as long as I can and seat myself, okay? So as I push and I go to stand, I'm gonna use because I have a knee replaced and a hip replaced. And I might need to use my hands here just to get me over the sticking areas right there. Then I come up. And the sticking areas is because you're lower than you normally are. It's gonna be harder, it's more challenging. Okay, this is a progressive thing, all right? So here I go, I'm looking, so I can go down with control, and I see where I'm at, and I really have to target it, and I help to really hang on as I go to sit down. Don't just drop. If you're dropping like a rock, you need to use your hands to help yourself up and down. So why would I do this? Because this is what real life is about. You're gonna find yourself in lower seats, higher seats. You gotta be able to ambulate through that. Okay, so here I am, heels, I see my chair, I'm coming down, but if I just don't have any control at the end, go ahead and put your hands right here. That's okay, okay? So here I come up, and then here I come, I put my hands here, and I help myself down. This is how you go down into a lower seated situation. You have to have enough strength in your upper body in order to help yourself. So let's, no matter what, no matter if you're strong enough and everything, it doesn't matter. Take your hands, put it right here on your seat, okay? And you hip hinge, you drop your shoulders in through the nose, push, then you come up, okay? Now go into your heels. Now bring your hands here. Stay with it as long as you can. And then instead of just dropping like a rock, ease yourself down into that chair. Got it? Okay, I'm going to do one more set to stand in this elevated foot position. Hip hinge, drop your shoulder, heels, and you're up. And you're moving all over the place, right? Yeah. And then hip hinge, tight tummy, drop your shoulders. I'm going to help myself just come right down to there so that I have control coming down, okay? Sometimes when your knee doesn't bend like it's supposed to, you've had a knee replacement, you got to use your upper body. So I wanted to show you how to do that in a real life situation. Okay, here's our little pad. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to put it right back in my chair. And hopefully you're going to see this. Now we're going to pick up weights. Woo! Okay. So I'm going to go down here and I've done a lot of sets of stands so far. So I'm going to pick up, I've done a lot of arm work to warm up. So I'm picking up a little beyond light weight. Okay. Just a little beyond it. Just a little beyond lightweight. So that means I got a 9-pound here and a 9-pound here. So it should be lightweight to just over lightweight for you, okay? I have to get a little air going on in here. I turn my fan on. And that's a good thing to remind you that having a very heated room sometimes is not what you want. That means your heart has to work especially hard at keeping you cool. So if you have a fan on you when you're working out, that is a good thing, okay? So here I am. I got a wide stance. I have my little pad that raised my seat 2 inches. I have 9 pounds and 9 pounds weights, okay? And I'm just gonna work these gently like this as I go down and up. So let me ask you right now, how many of you have locked your knees? And the minute I said that, you bent your knees, but guess what? If you bent your knees and you didn't push your butt back, that means you bent your knees like that and you pushed them out over your toes. That is not what I want you to do, okay? So drop your shoulders, tighten your tummy, swing your butt back, and soften your knees. That's what I want, okay? So as I go down now, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna barely tap, and then I'm gonna come back up. So that means I have to keep shifted into my heels. Don't go on down and rest unless you need to, okay? So here I go, 1, rest, start thinking. And here's what I want you to think about. Where is the pressure in both my heels as I go into this little hamstring tapping? See, I'm just tapping the back part of my legs. That's my hamstrings. And as I go down, I'm curling. So I'm doing this semi-squat or hip hinge with 18 pounds on my whole frame. So you have whatever you've picked up. So I hope you picked something up. Keep dropping your shoulders, tightening in your tummy, hip hinge, and just tap. Tap the back part of your hamstrings. And every time you come up, in through the nose, out through the nose, ask yourself, Am I pushing harder on one leg than the other? And if you are, try to equalize. So I can tell you that's a very normal thing that people get into. You don't even realize it, but you're tapping or you're squatting with more pressure in one leg than the other. So I'm just trying to encourage you to straighten that out. Now, some of you may be saying, Jeannie, do you know how many we've done? And I would say, no, but Kathy does. That's what I would say. In through the nose, out through the nose. Stay into your heels. Stay into your heels. Don't lock. 2 more. Just 2 more. Just tap and come back. Just tap and come back. Yes. Now I'm going to take a little break here and step out. See that? So I still got the same weight, and I'm going to lean in. Do you see how I'm leaning in? I'm not leaning out over my toe. I'm not junting my neck out. I'm not rounding my shoulders. My feet are straight. They're in a split stance, and you can see that if I face the camera, you can see it's like a step. That's all. But I'm not bending my knee out over my toe. Drop your shoulders. You're going to pull, then you're going to push. But here's what you're not going to do. Bring them back down. You're going to pull, and you're going to roll your shoulder blades in. You're going to stay leaning out a little, okay? Pull your elbows in tight. Your shoulder blade should be squeezing. Then you're going to push, and you're going to roll those shoulders in more. Then you're going to release and put them down, okay? Now, at the same time I'm doing this push-pull rotation through my shoulders, I'm getting a significant stretch through my Achilles, my foot, my whole foot, my calf. Keep your elbows in, elbows in, elbows in. Push back. So when those elbows straighten, your shoulders should roll into your back. Then they come back out here. So you're going to go pull, then you're going to go push. See, I'm not down really far. I am in a split stance, basically, and I'm doing a gentle push-pull with my shoulder girdle and my triceps right there. Take a breath. Push-pull. See that? So I'm pulling up, and I'm pushing out. Okay, very basic moves. Now, if you stayed in this stance and your knee is just a little soft in front, but it's straight in the back, you should be feeling quite a bit of pressure through your hip and gluteal, okay? Because it's holding you. It's keeping you from falling over on your nose, so to speak. Okay, I'm going to bring that leg back in. And this is very tight because it was my stability muscle. It kept me from falling over on my nose. I wanted to hold you in that position for a bit because that is a really good way to condition that muscle. See how I'm turning my toe out? The one that was in front? Yeah, it's helping to return it to a pre-tense muscle position. See, I'm going to turn it like that. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to do a split stance. So I'm not putting my weights down yet. If you need to, put them down and go to a lighter weight. I'm going to simply step out as if I was going to take a step to walk. My toes are forward, right? Now I'm going to bend that front knee as if I'm going to walk, but I'm not. And I'm going to pull. So here I go into a second set. And what am I asking my front gluteal muscle to do? I'm asking it to be a stabilizer, because if I was right here and it wasn't stable, I'd be falling forward on my nose. And as I do my push-pull, if I were just with you right now, see, I would put my little finger right in the middle of your back. And I would want to feel the shoulder blades pull together. And then when I press back, they roll together in. Then they come and release. And you come down. Here I go. I'm going to pull and roll. Yeah. Then push back. And the back leg will try to sneak up on you. Put that heel down in the back. Breath. Here we go. Pull it in, push. The heel is down in the back. And you're in basically a split stance positioning. Your shoulders are down. Your front knee is bent. It is not going excessively out over my toe. In fact, I can look down here and see my toe. That's how you know if you're okay. Pull in through the nose, out through the nose. Whew. In through the nose, out through the nose. So that front leg, if you're doing this correctly, you should feel right in the middle of your gluteal. It should feel tight. It should feel like, whoa, I'm getting a shot right there. That's how you should feel right now. This is such a good move for people that want to keep their hips strong for what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, one more. Pull, push, and then come back in. So right here, I'm feeling the tightness because it was doing what it's supposed to. So what do? Just turn my toe out. Stand up straight. Oh, whoa, immediate relief. So now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put my weights in my little holster. And I'm going to go up in weight. Okay? But I'm going to open my hands, close my hands, open my hands, close my hands, open, close, open, close. Okay? Now, before we go on into our weight training, I'm going to give your hands just a little time to recover. Gripping free weights is a great workout, but you got to give yourself breaks, especially if you tend to have joint disease with arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, any kind of joint kind of thing. You need to use your joints, but you don't need to overuse them. Okay, so what am I going to do? Before I go into my next weight workout, I'm going to use my pad, but I'm going to just lean it up here because I want to go again with a arm swing forward and back. And here's what I want to encourage you. Take a look at what I'm doing. Many of you with shoulder dysfunction, you do this move, but you know what happens? Your hands go out like this. You don't keep it in a trajectory like this because you have shoulder dysfunction. And they're rolled out and you tend to go like that and you don't even realize you're doing it. So shake out, okay? Think about it. Tummy goes in, shoulders go down. When I do this little arm swing, see, I keep my hands in line with this leg, in line with this hip. See, if I go up like this, and sometimes you're not even going to know you're doing it unless you're looking at a mirror or somebody with a little bit of knowledge is looking at you. So what I'm trying to get you to do is to do a recovery move, but I want it to be a real recovery move. So tighten your tummy, drop your shoulders, soften your knees. When you go up, don't lock your elbows, number one. Don't drop your shoulder and back, which is what people want to do. Keep tight. This hand should be able to come right down to your quad. This hand should be able to come right down to your gluteal. See, if you're coming down and you're doing this, it's way out here. And that tells me something about your shoulder issues, okay? So I'm just gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna go like this. So this turns into a really good move. If your knees are soft, you're balancing on your whole foot, that means all four corners. Yeah, try to balance on all four corners with your knees soft. Do not take your hand up over your head here. But what you must do is bring your hands in so that when you exchange, your thumbs barely graze here. And you know what? Some of you are really good right here. But the minute you start coming up, you go out. So bring that in. And this turns into a really excellent rotational move that should feel really good in your shoulders and your upper body, okay? Again, are your knees soft? Is your tummy in? Your shoulders always down, and you need to be feeling this on all four corners of your feet, okay? Big breath. So now I'm going to turn around here, and I'm going to bring my leg up. So now we bring this whole arm swing thing into play. That's why I did that, okay? Because, let me just say, some of you are going to do this. You're just going to rip your leg right up here. You're not going to be thinking. So I'm saying to you, stop. I'm going to grab a pole because I want you to, if you feel unbalanced, and if you've had multiple joints replaced, I can tell you, it is a panicked feeling when you go to put a foot this high and you're putting it on a shelf, that if you're losing your balance, you're going to fall, because it's going to be very difficult for you to take your foot off of this shelf in order to catch yourself. You're not going to do it. You're just going to go ahead and fall, okay? So use just a simple pole, okay? You can put it on either side, doesn't matter. But what does matter is that your shoulders are down. Then I want you to just bring this leg up and then come down and tap it. See? You're going to bring the leg up and then bring it down and just tap. And you're going to bring the leg up, and you can change the bar. Okay, so for some of you, this simple move is going to push you, because see, what you're used to doing is you're used to doing this kind of a thing. You're used to doing like this and turning and getting your foot up here, and then you get off balance, and then it's not a pretty scene, right? So I'm just encouraging you that what I'm trying to work into this workout today is really good hip, back, shoulder, leg function. And I'm trying to show you how to do it so that you can really ambulate better, have better balance. So bring your knee all the way up and then put it down, so that you will shift into the lower leg, okay? Some of you have locked your knee. The minute you start to do this, you lock this knee. So I'm just going to tell you, be aware if you're doing that, and don't lock the knee. Use a point of balance, like a counter, a pole, a wall. And this particular move that I'm doing right now, we're going to do in just a moment with weights. When you put weights in your hands, now you've upped the ante, okay? Because if you're locking your knee, if you're over leaning, if you're doing any of these little funny things, when you go to pick up a heavier weight and we're not even going to be doing anything with it. We're just going to be hanging on to it. But you can't correct yourself or help yourself balance. So I want you to do several knee lifts, and see, we did exaggerated knee lifts. We did exaggerated heel lifts in the warm up today for a reason. Okie dokie. See how I lift the knee up and then I let it just rest on the chair. And then when I go to remove it, I lift the knee up. Right here, lift the knee up and then down. If this is sticking on you, this is one of your tasks that you need to get good at, okay? So, big breath. I'm gonna put my pole down. And here's the deal. I hope you're gonna hear me on this. Some of you are not going to be able safely to put that knee up there with weights, okay? Because you're still struggling with balance when you put the knee up, okay? So this is how you progress into that. I'm gonna pick up a pretty heavy weight here. I'm gonna be hanging on to it. If you're in that situation, you simply tap on the lower rung of your chair, see? So, and before I do it, each time I ask myself, okay, have I shifted? Do I feel balanced? Before you put that foot up there. Okay, I'm gonna pick up a heavier weight now. So some of you are saying, well, what are you picking up, Jeannie? I have 12 pounds here and I have 12 pounds here, okay? And if at any time it gets dicey or scary for me to bring my leg all the way up and then down, I won't do that. I will come to the lower rung, okay? Soften your knee, rib cage up, and you're shifting. Number one, don't go fast. Number two, think about how you're standing, okay? It's a shoulder width stance. I shift, my knee is soft, drop my shoulders. I'm gonna pick my surface. But if it's too dicey for me, if it's making me feel scared, I won't go up that high. See? I will just go lower. Perfect. You're getting all the same benefits, not the intensity of somebody that's going up higher, and you don't have the likelihood of falling, okay? So anytime you are shifting, you are carrying a load, you are doing split stances, that means one leg versus the other, you have the likelihood of getting off balance. So I'm saying, always make safety first, be your axiom, okay? You want to be safe, then challenge yourself. So see how I'm just shifting, lifting? If that's too high for you, go to the bottom rung. Now I'll try to get you to tap on that rung. And I mean, you could just tap out here. Yeah, you could do that. However, I actually want you to get on something because this is real life stuff. So when I go and I put my foot up, how am I going to get it off there and stay on balance? See? That's what your body, your brain, all your proprioceptive muscles are saying. Okay, what do we have to do in order to hang on to these weights? So now I'm balancing 24 pounds, right? Hanging off my shoulders. My tummy's super tight. My shoulders are down. And I am going up, staying on balance. And then I have to stay on balance and get unstuck, right? And I'm doing a high repetition with this because I want you to really get used to, I want your body to get used to what does it have to do in order to do this kind of a motion with carrying a heavy weight, okay? Now I'm going to bring these weights right up here and I'm going to hang on to them for a bit. See that? I'm just going to hang on to them for a bit. I'm just going to take a little ambulatory walk, front and back. And whenever you go back, what do you have to make sure of? That A, your pathway's clear, and B, you don't trip on your heel. I know, backward walking is a function that you want to keep, but you don't want to do it if you have fallen. And so what do? We crimp around and we never have full function of our leg because we're so afraid we're going to fall. So what I'm telling you is get the heel up, and you have whatever weight on you that you can handle. But this kind of weight loading and doing a simple walk is a big deal. This is great loading of your spine, of your hips, of your knees, of your feet. So I'm going to encourage you. Yeah, I warmed you up. I worked through a lot of different moves, and I'm trying to get you so that you're aware of what your feet are doing. Where do you feel the pressure? Don't be tripping on those heels, okay? So now I'm going to come and I'm going to bring my weights down, okay? And all I'm going to do is just put my little finger here, and I'm going to bring that pillow right down onto my seat. So what have I done? I've gone into a heavier weight category. Pick up whatever is challenging to you. And I've raised my seat again. I'm going to come back here so you see what I'm doing. Okay. So here I am. I've raised my seat, right? Yeah. So I'm going to keep these by my side. And I'm going to just let them come right down. See? I'm going to just go right down my quads. So what does that mean? If your weights are clinging together, go wider with your feet. I want you wider anyway, okay? So as you go into this squat, you want to do what? You want to hip hinge. So when you're pushing your butt back, you say rib cage up, you go down, and you sit. And you adjust, go a little wider with your legs if you need to. I'm letting you put your hands on your knees right now. So you're not getting the full effect of the heavier weight. We're just going to do this with a few, okay? So I'm going to lean in, see? I'm shining my tail lights, right? I'm dropping my chin, right? In through the nose, out through the nose, heels, and I'm up. And see what I'm doing with my shoulders? I'm pulling my shoulder blades into my back. Then I'm going to push my butt back. I'm going to come down. And my shoulders are down now, okay? In through the nose, out through the nose. Make sure your feet are wide enough. Start to shift into your heels. Heels, push. Yeah, if you don't shift into your heels, they're not going to go there, and you're going to have stress on your knee. Okay, here we go. See? Right down here, right down here, right down here. And come back. And right up here. Okay, we've done a couple. Now you ready? Shoulder shrug and drop down. Shoulder shrug and drop down. Your tummy's tight. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. So I'm doing this with 12 and 12, okay? So you've got individual movement, but then you have collective 24 pounds coming right down through the spine, correct? Okay, you ready? Now bring your hands right here, push your butt back. Now bring those hands out here and come down and bring them right in, okay? Here we go, back down. And back up, shoulders, shoulders. Push the butt back, bring them right here, and do a sit. You're in your heels pretty much. Don't lock your knees. Tighten your tummy as you go to sit. And we're not spending a lot of time on that seat. I just want you to get down and just make contact a little bit and then stay into your heels. And every time you come up, keep your chin tucked, ribcage up, shoulders down. Draw. Heels, heels, heels. Drop your shoulders. Breath. Keep your elbows in. Breath. Okay, one more and then we're gonna stand. Okay, so come right here. Bring the waist up and then go open. Okay, so I'm right here. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. I hope you're practicing your nasal breathing. Take a breath. Hang out here for me, with me just for a second. Okay, bring them in. Bring them down. Okay, here's the test. I'm gonna take my little pad. I'm gonna pull it. Now I don't have my pad there anymore. Now I'm gonna go 2 inches more down. So what did I do? I widened my stance, number 1, okay? In through the nose, out through the nose. Ready? You can go ahead and keep your hands right here as you go down. All right, that's all right, but you're gonna go a little further. So get ready for that. Rotate, push your butt back, look back at that chair, and you're sitting. Now I'm gonna stand. Be very aware of what you're doing with your back, okay? Because when I come down here to stand, I have to have a wide foot stance, and I have to actively, that means on purpose, push into the heels. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Heels, and you're up. Squeeze your butt. Go back down, and you're making contact, and then you come back up. Squeeze. Look under. You should be able to see your chair. And it's amazing how much harder it is to drop 2 inches down and then to rise 2 inches more. And you're squeezing every single time that you come up. You're pushing into your heels. You're squeezing your butt. Okay, you can keep your hands here if you want to. I'm going to take mine out here. I'm going to go down and bend them right beside me. In through the nose, out through the nose. If you're pushing more on your stronger leg, try to equalize. Okay, just do it. It's an internal choice. It's an internal awareness. Heels. Breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. 2 more, 2 more. Here we go, one more. Stay with me, stay with me. And heels. I'm gonna take and step wide, put my heavier weights back in the holster, take a break with my hands. Okay, it's a lot of weight. Open, open, open. In through the nose, out through the nose. So I'm gonna step, I'm gonna come back in. So I'm gonna step, I'm gonna come back in. So as you're stepping, your shoulders stay down. Come back in through the nose, out through the nose. Step, they come right here, drop your shoulders, come back in. Okay, step, toes are forward, right to here, okay? Back in, just like a T, right there, okay? Come back in. All right, come and put your thumbs up and you're in the W, right? Bring that hand position and you're pointing at your shoulder with your hands. Okay, this tells me a lot. When I watch somebody do this kind of a motion, and if they're turning, and if there's no way they can bring their thumb to their shoulder here, the shoulder seam of a shirt right here, without doing this funny thing, or without doing this, then we got problems, okay, with our shoulders. I mean, everybody's got some issues, right? Okay, rib cage up. My thumbs are right here, okay, in a W. My elbows are right there. Bring them right out there, just like that. Turn them down, turn them up. Bring them forward with your palms up. And then go tap, step, tap, step. So this is a movement patterning that gets your brain functioning, okay? So as I do this now I'm gonna tap over here. And now I'm gonna tap over here. And then I'm gonna take it open. And then I'm gonna take it open. Yeah, I know. Drives you crazy, right? Just do these little movement patterns to get your brain on board and to help your balance and to help you recover some of those weights. Okay, now I'm gonna go up a little more weight. Yes, I am, okay? What I was trying to show you today, so I'm gonna go up to 15 and 15. You go up to what you think is heavy for you, okay? So I'm gonna step wide. I'm gonna come down in a really good solid stance. My hands are recovered. And now I'm not gonna grip the barrel. I'm gonna let them hang off my fingertips. So I'm not gripping this very heavy weight, see? But it's on my frame, see that? So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna go shoulders up again, shoulders down. I'm gonna step with a heel toe, with a heel toe. Then I'm gonna go back with a toe heel. I'm not gonna do it fast because I wanna stay on balance. And when you're backing up with very heavy weights in your hands, that can get quite scary. I know it. And I know many of you have fallen. So you're very tenuous with this. So I'm telling you, be careful. See, I'm gonna go toe heel. See, I lift, toe heel, lift, toe heel, lift, toe heel. I'm carrying 30 pounds. So you could have anything heavier on both hands as you're doing this little carry exercise. And we're doing it with exaggerated heel and knee lifts. Exaggerated. Then I'm going to come over here in front of my chair. And I'm going to go down and down and down. Okay? So now I'm going to stand back up same way. Drop your shoulders. In through the nose, out through the nose. Do you see how I'm going wide? You see how I'm going to really bend forward from my hip, not from my back, from my hip. Now I got my hands tied up. I can't put them on the chair. And some of you might be where you're like, I can't stand up that far down with a weight. So what you do is you come into here, you push your heels, okay, into the floor. Your hip hinging, your heels are in the floor, and you act as if you're gonna get up, but you don't. See that? This is a very valuable move. I've got 30 pounds in my hands. I lean in, okay? In through the nose, exhale, and push into your heels. Some of you are pushing way too hard into your toes. You're down here, now go to the heels. Drop your chin. Act like you're gonna get up, but you don't. Act like you're gonna get up, but you don't. Act like you're gonna get up, but you don't. Go into your heels. 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 Drop your shoulders. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more, heels. And bring those weights down. Right beside you. Yeah. See, I'm gonna pull them out here, pull them out here. I'm gonna sit to the very edge of my chair. I'm going to open my hip hinge. Now I'm doing the exact opposite of what I've had you do today. See? Ribcage up, drop my chin, open, open, open. Bring that heel right here. Place your hand on your knee gently. So some of you will say, oh, I can't do that. My hips are replaced. And I'm like, always follow whatever orders you've been given because everybody's a little different. This is my hip replaced side. Am I going to push this knee down hard? No, I'm not. But I can guarantee you if I open back, keep my rib cage up, and just barely put my hand right here. Oh my goodness, I have all the stretch in my hip area that I can handle. Take a big breath. Nose, nose, pull yourself back in. Now, when I say pull yourself in, I don't mean round your back. I'm going to show you a little trick that's going to help you with pain, okay? If you'll learn it. Say rib cage up. Pull yourself into your knee with your chest. Don't try to reach out with your chin. Pull that knee in as you're coming in with your chest. You're going to feel a really nice stretch coming right up through the hamstring. It's gentle, and you can make it be as intense as you want. This is one little move that's going to help you a lot, okay? Then come back without even getting in the floor. Some people, we do this in the floor, but I'm just showing you this because of time in the chair. Okay, I'm at the edge of my chair, number one. Shoulders are down, number two. Open at the hip. This kicks in. Bring your ankle up as far as you can. Then your knee is kind of out like you're crossing your legs. Say rib cage up one more time. Put your hand here and put a little tiny bit of pressure if you can and if you don't have a hip replaced, okay? If you have a hip replaced, this is enough. Okie dokie. You hang out here for 10 to even 20 seconds. If you're feeling a stretch, that's what I'm looking for. And if you're not feeling a stretch, my guess is you're rounding your back. Say rib cage up. Yeah. And then start moving forward. See? With your chest into your knee. See that? See that? Now I'm going to go a little further. See, I'm moving in from my hip, not my back. I don't want to round my back here. But I can tell you that stretch moved all the way around into the gluteal. And you just hang out there for a little bit. Okie dokie. Take a breath. You guys did a good job. We did progressive squats today. And I took great care to bring you along into that. And weighted carries. Oh my goodness. I hope you feel better. I feel better. Let me take my recording off. Oh.